All right, and we're on to Rift once again, and it feels like I'm back at home because we're watching Hong Kong once again. We saw them earlier. Unfortunately, it dropped their game against Korea, but take a look at this. It's China, and we're seeing the Chinese representatives on to the Rift.
And if we just take a look at China 1 second, I'm just going to take a longer look at them, not because I'm biased in any way, fashion, or form.
Oh, no, of course.
They just ran in with RNG. Sure, they have Mako, but today they're, or at least for this game specifically, they're using Ming. So the MSI champions, barring CA, coming in for this one, going up against Hong Kong. So you got to watch out, Hong Kong. You're going up against champions here.
Yeah, this is legitimately RNG. This is a little bit crazy. I mean, of course, Xiao Hu is a major part of RNG, but Xie can't sleep on this guy either. He's exceptionally strong in his own right. I've seen him on WE, and he's been a massive carry, especially in this last split that we saw last year, Raz. So excited to see what he can do on RNG.
Yeah, he's going to have to go up against Moonblack. I think Moonblack had a very good performance. You referred to last game. I think Moonblack was a highlight on towards that one, so you haven't seen it. Check the game out. Of course, just picking up the Zoes. Spoiler. So, fun player to go up against the Xie, and even though Xie had an exceptional split last time around in spring, Moonblack doing quite well for himself on Team Afro.
For sure. And you look towards Hong Kong as well. You look at Voilis in the jungle and Kabe in the top lane. We saw them, as you said, in that Korean game. And they played the early game so well. Kabe in a losing matchup, helped out by a Voilis in the jungle who was on Xinjiao, if I remember correctly, in that game. Managed to put that pressure onto the top lane. And to be honest, Hong Kong were winning up until they lost. So you look towards China right here. Cannot sleep on Hong Kong at all. And they also know two of these players.
Here's the thing, I want to immediately get into this one, just because the pathing here immediately from Olaf, there were a lot of questions with the jungle chaining up just quite a bit, what Olaf's role was going to be, just because he was the type of jungle that does actually clear very quickly, but not going to be able to take advantage of an experience. Level 2 Olaf doesn't do very much. Always a question in mind, but he actually still does. We saw a little bit of it in the Demacia Cup, so I want to see what he can do going up against Skarner. It's a good matchup, but he's not going to have the support from his mid lane, so that's something to watch out for.
It's also MLXG versus the Voilis though, and I look towards the Voilis and like Spark Jungler is pretty consistent as well on no matter what team I see him on. I look towards MLXG, strong, but also MLXG. So like there's a chance for Voilis' consistency to potentially win out in the jungle if he catches MLXG doing something risky.
That's the thing, because I would relate a Voilis very much to Karsa.
Yeah.
So I think a Voilis is, you're right, a consistent jungler, a methodical jungler, maybe too methodical for some teams. Some teams would really just love that action-packed style of just in your face. That's what MLXG could provide. Look at how long this lane is for Unified and Kaiwing. Speaking of action-packed, he's ready for this one.
Oh boy, we've seen this before. The bottom lane Olaf play finds the route onto Kaiwing, or rather Kaiwing finds the route onto Olaf and will fizzle out that gank, but still, that is a flash burn onto Unified.
Great binding from Kaiwing, so honestly, MLXG had no way of chasing that one down. So ultimately, saves and null. Unified had to burn flash, but he's an Ezreal, so he's not that bad.
At all, he will teleport back into the bottom lane, but still, we'll see if there's a repeat gank from MLXG, because he's the type of guy, once he has something in his mind, he's one-track mind, he's got the blinkers on, and he'll go back towards that lane, try and find that kill, and keep on going at you.
Certainly, and I think that's the only real lane that you can look towards. Mid lane, not really gankable, especially up against Karma. Olaf and Vladimir, you'd have to really miss position to find a way to get the kill on towards Karma or push her out of lane. And it's the same thing for Mundo. Mundo can get low in HP, so you can look to dive him, but once he hits 6, he's going to be pretty sustained throughout the laning phase. So I would say MLXG, safe bet to look by.
Hang on, Uzi flashing forwards onto Unified. One more auto attack. He's going to find a 2 versus 2 kill. First blood to China.
And I mean, I feel bad for the Hong Kong Attitude bottom lane because they have to go up against Uzi and Ming. We don't even know how that happened, and they still get the kill because you have to expect an incredibly strong skirmishing bottom lane coming out of these two.
Oh man, I mean that's just, it feels a little bit unfair, doesn't it? You know, it's just like you're watching MSI of your Hong Kong and you're like, wait, we have to play against that bottom lane that's just one MSI.
Look, it was already bad when you have to first prepare yourselves for a Chinese bottom lane because China has a lot of incredible bottom AD carry talent, support talent. But then you have to go up against the best AD carry from China, and right now arguably the best support. They even have Mako in the bench. You're going to have a lot of competition.
Flash Forge from Xie. Ignite comes down late, but I think the potions should be able to keep him alive. That was maybe one or more 2 ticks from Karma going down, and that's a Vladimir versus Karma potential solo kill.
I mean, I don't know how that happened. The fact that Karma's supposed to do well in that matchup, has good poke here, so she's never supposed to be in range for anything. She's sticking in the lane because she has the support from Avoidless, so she's pushed out. But, I mean, this is rough. Moonblack not being able to take it up against CA.
Here comes MLXG. He's trying to find that axe. You know, this MLXG is the type of player is like he sees the 1 versus 2. There could be another person off the map. He doesn't even know where Morgana is, but I'm still going to try and find that undertow.
Look, but he ain't mad. He ain't crazy. That had reason to it. He was holding the lane. He was saying, you know what? When you come back into the lane, Moonblack, you still have a bad wave to really push on. So strong from MLXG that he's keeping CA in a really good spot in this lane. So what was a bad matchup for CA is suddenly a major strength for the team.
I'm always feeling that controlled insanity coming out from the jungle of RNG. Here comes Ming looking for another jump on to Unified. Great timing there on the arcane shift. You know, looking towards this Skarner, Avoidless moving towards the bottom lane, has not been well. That flash forwards, great binding out from Kaiwing. This should be a return kill, but Uzi almost finds that kill onto Unified. Avoidless has to finish him off. He's so good. He's good. Oh, sorry, it's fine.
All right, these minions are a little bit too crazy, all right? That cannon minion was holding it down, was tanking a lot of minion damage. So that being said, really good play to get Avoidless in the lane. Really strong coming out of Kaiwing. Great binding.
Really good stuff. We actually saw that in the game versus Korea, that he looked for that flash binding. Didn't happen in that one, but binding second time's a charm. Just managed to find that lane kill.
All right, that last binding was crazy. This one actually had rhyme and reason to it because it was a point-blank binding. So it was either Uzi was going to flash or Uzi was going to die. Obviously, he had blown flash earlier, so he was going to die in that situation. So really good that they were timing that, and it made it happen.
Again, I'm looking towards this mid lane. Shie has got his boost of Lucidity. Also got the Predator as well on Vladimir, and is about 10 CS ahead currently of Moonblack in the mid lane. And you know, we said earlier, Moonblack is not a weak mid laner by any means, but we can see, looks like he's getting a little bit schooled here by Shie.
Yeah, Shie's going to have a good time here. Going tier 2 boots means that he should be in a good position to outrun a lot of this for Moonblack. He's going to be able to walk behind the minion wave before Moonblack is able to get a Q across the coast, so he's going to have to use his empowered Q. So that's something immediately that changes here. I want to get a little bit deeper into Vladimir, though. Because Vladimir, last time we saw him, Spellbook user. Yeah. Going through top lane, mid lane, Spellbook got changed, so it's not a permanent change to your spell, your summoner spell. Means that suddenly, CA going towards Predator, does a lot of damage, and it hits your point, which is what you want to do in getting flanks across. You have incredible movement speed, moving into a flank position, and it's really good for CA that usually wants to get Ghost for Vladimir. So it's a good middleman. If you still get the damage from your Ignite or TP depending on the game, but you now have the movement speed from your Predator.
Yeah, it's a nice mini ghost, and also allows you to take the Ignite in the mid lane as well as your combat summoner, and of course Flash on top of that, so it gives you stronger matchups. And the reason why we saw him able to put the damage onto Moonblack earlier is because he was able to take the Ignite, and here's the double Predator. What are you going to do, Moonblack? You're getting run down. Here's a Boiler Bait, may not even want this one, gets the stun down onto Shie. MLXG's already out of it, they can't get the kill onto a Voidless, but how are you meant to run away from that if you're a Karma?
And you know what, this is what Moonblack probably thought himself. 4 minutes ago, I was like, yeah, it doesn't look reasonable. I don't think you get that kill. Vladimir and Olaf, how do you get a kill onto his Karma? Unless if you run her down in Mach speed. So yeah, it's possible. Both of them use it at the same time.
It almost doesn't seem fair, does it? But that is the power of having Ignite and Predator on a champion like Vladimir, and also when you've got an Olaf there as well with the slowdown and the chase after. So second kill over to China right here. Ming putting more pressure down onto this bottom lane, and you can see across the board that every single role is winning in terms of CS. Don't look at the supports, but look at top lane, being able to put the pressure down onto Mundo. In the jungle even, there's extra CS going over to Olaf, probably because he's been taxing, but that's fine. Mid lane's ahead, Uzi's ahead, and just across the board, not only in terms of kills, but just over time, trying to accruing these advantages.
You're right about the fact that it comes down to apparently lane kingdom for Team China. The fact that the only lane that I was questioning was going to be the mid lane, but even that, just based off the pressure coming out of MLXG, has changed entirely. So it's now Unified, Moonblack, and Kabe that have to think about how they utilize their TP. Because their power is getting pressured, and one of them has to get a TP flank going so they can keep the game alive, or at least stop a tower from dying. China's in a really good spot right now to just look for outer turrets.
And it feels bad if you're Hong Kong because I actually don't dislike the composition whatsoever. I think the Mundo works here really well. If he comes out the laning phase, you know, equal farm, looks at the AD carry in the face, it's like, are you on hit? Nope. Okay, we'll have fun with that. I'm just going to sit here, pop my ultimate, and just be unkillable for the next 15 seconds. But right here, China are keeping all of these lanes down. And I especially like this adaptation coming out of Let Me right here. Picks up the Executioner's calling, means that just in the one-on-one, and as long as he's there with Mundo, he's going to be cutting that healing in half.
Yeah, you can just tell that's what he's investing into the lane, because Executioner's calling for this champion for Gnar. It actually doesn't make sense. Like, you wouldn't build it into anything. He's probably just going to sell it once it gets to 4 items. So he's hyper-focusing on the early game and just trying to make it so Kabe does have to base. Sure, Kabe utilized his ulti when he was really out of combat, so he didn't have to deal with that. But now that's how that matchup plays out. No.
Yeah, I was feeling it as well there, Raz. Shea's just pushing forwards, a flash forwards, and Avoidus gets the suppress down. And that is a dead Ming Uzi without a support in the bot lane.
Yeah, and I don't care how far ahead you are. Wait a minute, Moonblack, gotta get out of there.
Yeah, counterplay in the mid lane. Shea forces the flash out there and gets the wave pushed into tower, but is Vladimir, so it's not going to be doing the most damage to the tower in the world.
There we go. I mean, that's flash, so you gotta time it. MLXG and Shea want to gut him. But back towards the play that happened at the bottom side of the map. It doesn't matter how far ahead of you are, if you are Uzi and Ming, if the lockdown from Morgana and Skarner are persistently going to be able to hit you. So it's tough. It's actually just really difficult to get out of. So Uzi has to think about a QSS. Same goes for Ming, but it's way too early in the game to really worry about it. So it's going to have to be the team of China that really surrounds and stops that play from happening.
I mean, that's a nice thing. When you take away the Morgana, it's just like, well, you're going to have to invest in the QSS at that point. You know, you have to look towards that one. If you're not running Tam Kench, then you all have to get QSS if you're carrying that team.
That's why early in the game, I just want MLXG to play towards the bottom side. I think right now, Vladimir doing a phenomenal job for himself. Same goes for CA. CA is actually holding his own, is incredibly far ahead just in that matchup alone. If MLXG plays towards the bottom lane, best case scenario, there's no Avoidless, you get the kill on the bottom side of the map. Worst case scenario, you meet Avoidless and you stop a play from happening, so you protect your bottom lane. So I want to see MLXG looking to invade more so on the bottom side of the map. He's pathing bot, so that's a good no.
And while the kill was good, I'm still looking at these gold totals and the CS numbers that just seem to increase every time I look at the scoreboard.
Oh, hell
it's
yeah.
just like, even though you get these kills, it's like still China somehow getting ahead in terms of gold.
30 CS top lane, 20 CS mid lane. And sure, it's like 3 CS, but that's the lane that's been getting ganked frequently by Avoidless. So the fact that they're still ahead there, it's the reason why there's such a massive gold lead in favor of China. 1K, but 1K at 10 minutes, pretty big. So I want to see what Hong Kong can do, can stop this. Actually, it looks like it's just going to be this dragon. There's not much they can do to get this unless Avoidless has a hunch.
Yeah, and when we look at the bottom lane CS, you then turn your attention to the jungle, and you've got 30 CS advanced over MLXG, because all that time Avoidless has been spending, MLXG has been taking camps. He's been taking enemy camps, he's been taking his own camp, he's been walking to the lane, taking their minions, he's doing everything, but another gank from the bot lane, great suppress down onto Uzi once more, the stun comes out, but Avoidless, he is very deep, he needs to get this kill to happen, otherwise he will die. Ming escapes with his life, and Uzi finds a kill. Here's the flash forward out from Sheer, just get the Hemo Plague down and force out the flash. My mistake, it was actually Ming getting the kill there, but still, +1 to China.
There we go, they were well and ready for it. I mean, they were literally doing dragons, so it was just essentially Hong Kong on a timer. They thought they can get the kill on the timer. He was trying hard, Avoidless was just whacking away, but it wasn't enough. It took a long time. He even tried to sacrifice himself for the kill, but ultimately he dies alone for it.
Ping down onto the top lane, surely by Let Me, because he's saying, I'm about to take this tower on next wave unless someone comes up here. And Avoidless, it's a question of whether he's going to path topside, try and help out his top laner here, because if he doesn't, that tower is down, and it will be first tower of the game, and solo gold to this Gnar.
Yeah, you know what? It's going to happen. At this point, what I was referring to earlier, the MLXG needed to be bottom side to stop the play from happening. He even got a dragon for it. He doesn't need to be bottom lane anymore. He can just look towards what's the easiest play to make happen. Top lane, look at that tower. That's pretty damn easy. He can either come top side, let it happen, or he's going to force the mid lane gank. Okay, good job. But to be fair, he's now passing top side, so the goal still comes through.
Technically, yes, Raz. Technically, that is the case.
He just didn't have to buffer his ulti. Get the Q landing first.
Spam the MLXGs, get it in there. But it's top lane is going to go down. Let me get all of that juicy solo go to himself in the top lane. And basically, that means that the Executioner's calling investment has essentially paid for itself. Not quite, but mostly.
That's true. Has himself the Black Cleaver. And at this point, honestly, if you have that much control topside, who are you to say that suddenly they don't have to be bottom lane anymore? They can actually just go for this Rift Herald. So China, go for Rift Herald, keep safe in the bottom lane, and they would be able to make a play mid lane. So that's just a net plus for them if that play goes through.
Hong Kong setting up in the bottom side. Recall comes out from Ming.
It's going to be awkward for him.
Yeah, Uzi's by himself, but the tower is low raz, so I'm looking at the potential here for Hong Kong to potentially force in this minion wave.
The problem with that, they don't know that MLX didn't let me a top side. And you know that Moonblack is going to be able to, or at least is not with you just yet. So if you go for the tower, okay, they're going to be going for it.
Yeah,
they have to be aware.
They know the Herald just went down. Uzi's here by himself, so there should be the tower trade in total coming out. Okay, tower finally falls. Will be split gold, however.
The best trade, that's the best trade you can make if you're Hong Kong. But now you know if you're Hong Kong, you have to be basing and protecting mid lane. First and foremost. Technically, MLXG can just throw that sucker down in the bottom lane. But you just have to be prepared mid lane, so if he does go bottom lane, you have vision of him, and you can have a quick trek towards the bottom lane to defend. So it's all on them to look to defend the Rift Herald that does, or at least will get placed down from MLXG.
Yeah, you know it's going to happen. In fact, if we're looking at lane assignments right now, they're actually just throwing the Gnar back into the top lane. Mundo hasn't moved. Bottom lane, even though it died here, I'm going to put Mundo down here, and it's actually going to be Dura lane from China pushing in this minion wave. And we're actually looking at Morgana. She's pathing towards the mid lane. So there is a potential here for China to make a play towards the bottom side of the map with MLXG coming down here.
Okay, so they now know what MLXG's motive is. He can place it mid lane, but he's still pretty damn close to his bottom lane. So that seems like it's going to be a done deal unless Hong Kong are willing to... No, actually, they're taking blue buff. So suddenly, yeah, you just lose this tower. Karma's taking blue. There's no way you can defend it.
Though MLXG is actually waiting off the wings. Yeah, he's topping Rift Herald here, so this will be a dead tower. And as soon as Hong Kong see this, he'll probably just back away.
Yep. The only thing they can do now is defend their secondary turret. So their inner tower is the only thing they can look to defend. But if you're China, you move towards mid lane tower. The wave is just coming, so you can push one wave and look to get that tower. It has to be Hong Kong that looks to defend that. Technically, you know, Unified has TP, so he can stay in this lane for a little longer. He doesn't have to move right at all.
He definitely can. It's actually Kaiwing who's going to have to start making tracks. Yeah, he's already teleported back to base, and we had a small push there from MLXG, but we're just flirting with the idea of pushing in this mid lane. It was actually the recall coming in from the bottom from China, who go back to base and actually pick up that one QSS that we were just talking about. It's actually the full completed item in the Essence Reaver, and going to be a Zeal as well for Uzi. So he's starting to scale up himself.
Yeah, it's going to take some time for Uzi to be able to get those items to be doing enough damage. So he's just going to be trying to keep it safe as possible. The great thing about Zai is even though her itemizing, or at least when she's going to be able to contribute to the team, takes a long time because she's an Essence Reaver builder, she just has a lot of innate weight to her because of her feathers. So passive is good enough, basically a pseudo Sivir, so you can keep her in the mid lane and allow for the champions that are doing well for themselves in the early game, the Gnar and the Vladimir, to be able to bridge that for yourself. So it's going to be great to see Uzi in about 10 minutes. But for now, he's got his own job of just defending mid lane tower.
And while we're talking about AD carry itemization, we are on 8.10, not 8.11. So remember, this is not the new Essence Reaver. None of those double lift Lucian highlight plays going to be happening in this game. It is the old itemization.
Yep, straight crit. So that item still has crit. And ulti doesn't really do anything if you're Sivir, so that's always if you're Dive, that's always a positive. So that's great that we get to see a little bit of this before we
change it all.
Exactly. Before we say peace to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a brand new world that we're going to be seeing on 8.11, but stay tuned for that one because we aren't still on the last patch. In the bottom lane, well, Moonblack, he's getting a bit of PTSD on this one because he's definitely felt the pain of getting double predated in the mid lane, and now it's happening in the bot lane.
And the worst thing, too, is not even just that. He has Aurelius as well, but looks like China's going for
another engage in the mid lane jungle right here. Here comes Uzi throwing up the Feather Storm, doesn't manage to find a kill to avoid this, but does burn his flash, and getting flashed on Skarner when he's looking for those impales, always going to feel good.
Yeah, time those summoners, because China can consistently look for those plays, and going for a Voidless for Moonblack, pretty prime target. We already saw how fast they can move. So I already talked about the Aurelius being picked up by Tia, which is another point why Vladimir doesn't need Ghost, because not only does he have Predator, but he also doubles down with Aurelius that has some AP to it as well. So, incredible item, really good, especially if you're just trying to kill Moonblack. So you can just run him down in these long lanes, and he's going to be in these long lanes because he's on the sideline. So really rough for Moonblack. Needs to find a way out, especially without his summoner.
Yeah, it's a hard knock life for Moonblack in this game. You know, last time we saw him, he was on Zoe, gets to make the plays. This time, he basically just lives his life to buff up the people who need to move fast. So it's going to feel bad for him for a little bit. And as you can see, he's moving into the support itemization anyways, picked up the Banner of Command, and also has the Lost Chapter and Aether's Wisps. So he's not going to be the major damage dealer of this game. Not going to see any of those Doivy shenanigans on this Karma. That being said, China are now moving towards the top side of the map, and it will be Baron spawning soon. So of course, we'll want to get some vision around the area. Double control wards are actually already down. Only one control ward out from Hong Kong, and that's on the bottom side.
Interesting to see, because of course, you already mentioned China's going to be able to push their advantage earlier on. They have their 4K gold lead, and the composition to boot. Black Cleaver build coming in from MLXG, so he has a great mid-game spike, disastrous late-game situation. So China's going to be moving. I want to see what they can get out of this, because I still really like Hong Kong's skill. Double tier and Ezreal, supportive build to really protect them. Mundo's fantastic for the, or at least from the damage, consistent damage that China's going to be putting through. So I like what I see coming out of Hong Kong. They just don't have a lot of damage in the early portion, especially because Unified is behind in this matchup.
There's a Voidless. He moves fast, and China are well aware of that now. As on 6 legs, but unfortunately did not find a pick right there. It is something that's always going to be in the back of their mind. QS says only on Ming right now. MXG, of course, can get out of that ultimate using his Ragnarok, but the key targets, if you're looking towards an Uzi, if you're thinking you can maybe burst down Sheer in time, those are targets that a Voidless can go for. Yeah,
and I think he should look to try something quickly. At this point in time, Moonblack doesn't have any HP. What the hell happened there?
I have no idea.
This is rough for the man, all right? It's rough. But just back to your point, it has to happen now. Ignite being used in Flash, so CA tried to go for the kill. And it has to be used now because, honestly, Team China's going for the early game immediately. They're trying to go for a split push win condition. Xie, you already saw what he was trying to do topside. But also the fact that Winsus is about to be picked up by Let Me. So he's going straight, DPS, mini Gnar, side lane split pushing Gnar. So this is a playstyle right now where China just never wants to be grouped. And it's working so far.
They're picking them apart, but as with all of these situations, it works until it doesn't it? You know, if one person gets picked and that turns into an objective, then it can quickly go real bad for China, and Hong Kong can swing this game.
We've seen numerous teams, professional teams that have played together for quite some time, so you wouldn't have a question about their communication, fail with these compositions because it is always just that one player getting picked out into an immediate Baron, into a stronger team fight composition, and that's exactly what Hong Kong has. So I ain't counting them out yet. Even though there's a 5K gold lead, Hong Kong can pull this through just with the composition they have alone.
And I seem to remember in their Korea game that they actually did something very similar, in which they found Peanut in the top side of the map, spoilers, and then managed to transition that into a big objective. So it seems like this is what Hong Kong are looking for in their games, and honestly, I like it. You know, if they're managing to pick apart these members of the team, you know, of different teams coming together, and it's like that's how you rip apart a team in terms of their coordination. It's very smart coming into a team like Asian Games.
Yeah, and just remember, these games do bleed through. That's the one round robin, so that's still, that game is going to be fresh in their memory. So the fact that they know that this is a possibility, and if they have a strong mentality, they can make it work. You can tell that they are not willing to give it up. Highwing is moving across the map to make these plays happen. So if you're trying to, especially off of just that last play, a risk to Xie's life, you have to play this one out disciplined. You don't want to find yourself getting chunked out like this.
This is potential here. Unified was feeling it, but that's the problem when you go up against a player like Uzi. It's like, did he let me hit him? Like, is there someone around the corner? I don't have vision. Is there a play that's going to happen? Well, Voidless is hunting for Let Me. Will manage to take the Blast Cone to victory. But, you know, if this was any other play in any other region, if you're in your domestic league, you're like 100%, 100% of the time, you would arcane shift forwards, look for another Mystic Shot, look for the kill. But the lack of knowledge here is what is stopping Unified and these players from making the solo outplay.
Yeah, you would look towards his ulti if he had it. He didn't have it at the time. Yeah, that's why he probably didn't want to continue to push forward. But you're right about the too much respect being given to the players. A lot of these members in Team China are players that take advantage of that. Uzi on interviews has already made mention time and again that he tests players to see if they take advantage, or at least if they respect him too much. These trades work out well for him in the laning phase. The same goes for MLXG, because when we see him play, he just walks forward, and if you walk back, he's not going to stop walking. So a lot of these players, they can snowball incredibly hard Unified had that one opportunity. He didn't go for it. That's all right. There's plenty more to come in this game.
I love the fact that you talk about Uzi in interviews, because Uzi has also said in interviews, as we actually look towards the top lane, he's going to be root down onto the Vladimir, and in fact the voice is coming around, but Vladimir is feeding the 1 versus 2, but now he realizes it's a 1 versus 3, and he may not have the damage for this one. Moonblack's low, but there's the suppression once again. Can they burst him down? Yes, they can. Kaiwing comes in with the final bit of damage.
That's what's so scary about Vladimir. He was so close to his Crimson Rush, he would have been able to get the Q to heal him up a little bit. No team members were coming to his safety, so like he still would have died in that specific time, but it's just a product of the champion. Great pick from Hong Kong, and they're keeping themselves alive in this game.
Great pick, but you've got to ask the question, was it worth? Because mid lane tower went down for that kill, and if you look at it just in terms of those raw terms, as Unified is getting pushed back behind his tower, you could argue that maybe China just won that.
Yeah, I mean, technically it is. The problem is, a trade is still a win from this team. Hong Kong have been losing quite frequently the past 20 minutes. The fact that they got a trade is still golden in their pocket. They recognize that with a ping being placed on that Baron, that it's going to be a game about who wins the team fighting there. And the gold is going to be crucial for Kabe, Moonblack, to see if they can get themselves going, especially on Unified. Unified has not been a part of a lot of these picks, so it's unfortunate for him. He's the one that needs the gold the most, so they can get the damage out there. But as long as they can get the gold, they can buff up their team fight. That's what they're looking to do.
That being said, we know that Unified hurts. If he hits the squishy targets, he's still going to do damage. He's on double item right now. He's got the Triforce, got the Mirror Mana. Like, he's going to hit hard on a target like Uzi that we're looking at right now, or someone like Ming. You're going to be able to crunch those numbers very quickly, but you're right. You want to start scaling, because if you don't get those kills, you will be overtaken by a crit AD carry like Xayah later on into this game, who has now also picked up the Quicksilver Sash. So if you're looking at any point in the game for it to be like a potential trough for him, maybe now, because Uzi had to put his build behind so that he doesn't get murdered by the Skarner.
Yeah, even with that though, it always comes down to who's going to bridge it. And I think right now Letney's doing an incredible job at just bridging that, being able to be that sole point of damage, finishing up between two Rage Blade of push. So China's not going to stop the pressure.
Oh boy, here comes the Olaf. He's going to be chasing everyone down, and the teleport from Letney finds a double slam against the wall, but great timing on that black shield in from Kaiwing.
And this is getting rough. I mean, Letney is trying his hardest to join these skirmishes and team fights to get the going for the team. He doesn't have to do it. He can just stay in the bottom lane, and that would be a win. But he's forcing this so often, and it's created an opportunity for Hong Kong to just get something out of it. Of course, the possibility at that moment was to be able to get the kill on Letney. I think that was an option. They already chunked an item as soon as he came down, and he didn't get a good enough ulti. So he has to watch out for himself. He's not built to fight like this.
Yeah, he's very much looking those side lanes, looking to chase down this Mundo by himself. But you know, to go back to an earlier point, we're talking about the Mundo in the top lane. Like, if he's able to scale to the late game, if he's able to get with the rest of the team, this guy's going to be nigh on unkillable. You know, if he's itemizing straight up armor, he's going to sit in front of Uzi and just be laughing. You know?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've seen a bit of Mundo during the or at least the I guess preseason, I would say, going into Summer Split. He even saw a bit of on Amazing J and Demacia Cup.
Oh yeah.
Because we saw Armando do the most damage on his team just based off the fact that if you can't kill him, he's going to walk up and smash you. He's going to just constantly throw auto after auto.
Oh yeah, well aware. I've seen him in my solo queue games, Raz. I know what he's made of.
So like, Kabe is in a really good position if he can get to that point. A lot of it is just that he's getting pushed into his tower frequently, and this banner command is only going to make it work.
Yeah, it's going to be rough for him. But for now, I mean, we'll get that inner tower, and that's really strong. I mean, the fact that Na at this point in the game can just keep on pushing over and over and over again, it just put the pressure down onto Hong Kong to make something happen. As much as we were saying, this play didn't work, it's over time. China are making a very real advantage in this game. The fact they are almost 8,000 gold ahead, and I would say a large portion of that was coming out from Letney, is very strong for them.
Yeah, and right now, just look at the pressure he's outputting here. All of this allows Team China to look towards Baron now. Look at how much control they have here, and it's just based off of Letney's pressure. He can rotate. Now he sees Skarner. If I'm Team China, I would immediately start on Baron. They have enough pressure here so they can make the decision, make the call, and allow Letney to force the play. That being said, the reason why they're being a little bit more cautious is because Letney doesn't have his TP because he used it earlier, but because of where he's currently placed near this tower, go for it. Why not? Call the play. He can get the inhibitor tower, and they can call the bluff and try and stop Hong Kong from doing Baron. Maybe they just don't want to put themselves in that position.
Yeah, China are being a little bit skittish right here. They're sitting around corners, they're seeing if they can find themselves a pick, waiting for someone to make a mistake instead of just going full LPR, you know, just running towards the objective and be like, come at us, let's go for a fight, let's go for the objective. But let me probably waiting for someone else to come to the bottom lane because he knows if Kabe by himself can't deal with me, someone else has to deal with me. Because look at that damage coming in from the hypercharges.
He's got Banner of Command right here for the next this wave. It's either going to be used on this wave or the next. So the benefit of having a lot of RNG players on here is that the communication is still incredibly strong amongst your players.
It's going to be a suppress down to Shit. He's dead before he can even Sanguine Pool, but MLXG, he's still trying to go in right here because he sees Kaiwing, but Ming almost gets instantly exploded. Uzi kiting back for his other pedestal, but down goes Ming. MLXG getting chased out by Moonblack, he finds himself a double. Uzi, 1 versus 4, and he's completely obliterated. In the bottom lane, Let Me is completely by himself.
And I was talking about the communication between RNG players makes a lot of sense when the play falters because it's the WE player CA that gets caught out first. They try and defend him, but just the entire unfortunate event that came through means that Team China lose 4 members for it.
I'm having deja vu right now because it feels like Hong Kong managed to find a play around the Baron. It doesn't matter when it happened, they managed to make that transition happen. They looked for the pick. They find it on Sheer, they found it on Peanut. Like, I don't know how they do it, but a Voidless managed to make it happen when it's crunch time in the later portions of the game. And this is going to completely swing the goal totals. We just said 2 minutes ago, 8,000 gold advantage to China. Look at it now, 4,000.
Yeah, Voidless, super good. Really needed to happen, finding Sheer. It's just that one pick that we keep talking about. Voidless last time around on the Xin Zhao, this time around on the Skarner, makes it so his team now has a Breath of Life. 3 Banner of Commands for themselves, so that if they ever find
the whole way
an opportunity, they're going to use it to be able to finally get these towers, this latent gold that's still on the map here.
You know, and the perfect goal, perfect visit for the future is we manage to take down all the other turrets, then we maybe get some of the inner turrets, and at that point, you're laughing. You're probably going to be equal gold, if not ahead of China at that point. So Hong Kong, if they can rally, if they can move towards their objectives, then great. And currently, they are setting up for that. You already mentioned the Banner of Commands. 2 of them have been used. We're looking towards a 4-man stack in the mid lane. And Kabe, sitting in base currently, has those home guards. He's looking to potentially come in on top of these members. He does have that teleport ready to go. They have a couple good side flank forwards. You can see the river is pretty much lit up.
Yeah, but just take a look at it. They're going to commit to this tower. They have 2 bannered minions on it, 1 cannon and 1 melee. I wonder how Team China are going to be able to do what they're going to do to stop this from flowing through. Honestly, the banner is great in resetting pressure. What I really love about the Baron coming on the side of 8K is that it's going to lengthen the game out. So Unified, first worry is that he had a late second tier. But now that he's able to get some time on it, he can get a double tier completed, and he's going to finally be able to do damage on towards Uzi, Ming, MLXG. The game is tilted now on the side of Hong Kong.
It definitely is, though Team China are still finding advantages. They're still finding trades while this is happening, and MLXG starting to cut the wave, though there isn't a wave, so he just says hello to Team Hong Kong as they're drifting past. He's like, hello, I'm now on the top side of the map, but he's pressuring the top side. Somehow MLXG just sneaks an Infernal Dragon while he's traded for 2 mid lane towers. So the fact that there's still trades going on is a little bit concerning here for Hong Kong.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think they're still in a really good spot. The fact that they can,
no doubt,
they consistently rally around their banner minions. They already got the tower. This inhibitor is next on the list. It's going to be China now having to respond to it. Team China were trying to get a trade.
Now they're looking to go in, but Uzi, or rather Ming on the front line. I get confused between the bird people, but one of them's dead for certain. Mid lane inhibitor is dead.
They can try to look for the game. They have enough poke, and take a look at Uzi's HP. He has to go back to base. So theoretically, they can look for an end right here with a number advantage.
This is scary. Double teleports down on top of that one. This is a 5-man stack and a 4 versus 5. Sheer, he's big. He's got all of his summoners available. MLXG, the same. Uzi, it's his time to shine, but the Berserker's already out of there. He's just Ragnarok and ran away. Uzi, he's the one having to step forward because he doesn't have a front line. Let Me is not ready for this. 1 Nexus turret down. MLXG back from the base. Sheer, he's pushing forwards, opening space for Uzi, and this will be the response. That's going to be all for now for Team Hong Kong.
Yeah, they have to move out. Unified took 3 tower shots. He was just piling up on tower shots. Had he not done so, that would have been a good position for the team to look for the second Nexus tower. So it's unfortunate. Lost of insight from him. Really poor play coming in, but ultimately, great call coming in from Hong Kong, taking advantage of the fact that they just took a kill off of me.
Really nice pick out there once again, and it's been 2 major picks that I can think of in recent memory that's come off of a Voidless, and looking towards the team of Team Hong Kong. It's getting those picks on key members and then immediately pushing the envelope.
And this is the risk of China's team composition. I'm actually fine with an Olaf as long as he has tank items, so he's willing to walk in. But the fact that he's gone straight damage with the Guardian Angel means that, look, if he's snowballing before that Baron play was even taken, he's super good. Like, he can just walk into a fight. He knows that he has a team around him. He can make the plays happen. Currently, not the case. He can't even walk up to the team, even with the GA involved, because he gets burned way too quickly. His second tier, or at least Ezreal, is fully completed. So right now, this Ezreal is fully online.
I forgot how hilarious it is watching a Mega Gnar with Guinsoo's just slap minions, but I got to see once again. He absolutely is. But China are pushing out, they're moving towards the river, and this is potentially the Achilles heel of Team Hong Kong. It's the second major objective, the second Baron. Can they overcome the curse?
It's possible. I mean, right now, it's definitely difficult for the MVP of Team China right now. Let Me is at the point in time where he's on to his 6th item. What does he do right now for that final item, which is maybe he goes towards and finishes up the Grievous Moon? Seems pretty bad unless he's going to be in team. If he wants to be in team fights, it's pretty bad. So I feel like at this point in time, they have to fully commit to Let Me trying to take this inhibitor in the bottom side of the map. Once Baron comes up in 2 minutes, he has to stick there. It has to be Team China that tries to buy time.
I mean, as a solo lane pickup, if he's just trying to push the side lane, Mortal Reminder would not be really bad at all for Let Me. You know, he's putting into that Mundo. Because look at the armor stack that's come out of him now. That's triple, quad, like, armor items that's coming in from this Mundo. Like, it will help him significantly. But you're right, it is the commitment. Do we put him as a side lane pusher? Do we bring him to the team fight? That's the question. Because so far from what we've seen in terms of evidence in this game, they want Let Me to be off to the side. But if it's crunch time, if he has to join the fight, he can't be that front line for Uzi. In that final push that we saw there into the base, Uzi, he didn't have a front line for himself.
Yep, and there's way too much of a front line for Team Hong Kong. Kabe's going to be running in there like a madman, and you have the double shield of Moonblack and Kitewing just protecting Unified, who's completely well and truly ahead. So right now, Team Hong Kong should be really comfortable in these fights unless it's Unified makes a crucial error, but we cannot assume that.
Here's the flank. Moonblack has to flash away, and in comes Ming. The double charm is good, but it's a root. Instinct QSS out from Uzi, and Moonblack, he's chased down. Uzi finds the second, and Kitewing running away for his dear life, but he is down. A 1-for-3 trade. Teleport out from China. They're pushing in the bottom side, and Kabe's already been run down. Great transform in from Let Me finds the Gnar. Kabe will pop the ultimate, but it's a 2 versus 4.
Yeah, this seems like it could be game. I was talking about the fact that you don't just assume the fact that he's going to make a mistake. Moonblack, Unified, Kitewing, all there without a voidless. So the fight is so easy to make happen. Banner of Command being utilized, and that's just because 2 members, CA and MLXG, are trying to get in there just to look for the end game.
This is where they can really shine in these small skirmishes in the 2 versus 2. Let Me and Uzi unstoppable. Here comes the minion wave as well. MLXG going to be leading the charge. He knows he has the ultimate ready to go. Plus he has the Guardian Angel. He could die here. He doesn't care. Uzi onto the second Nexus turret. Avoids. Moving into the back line. Here comes Xie, but he's down. Kabe, all he could do is focus the minions. But China, history will repeat itself. They find the win against Hong Kong.